So we all like to gain experience from each other. And sometimes when you have an interview with someone, you can get a lot more information from them. So recently I had a Michael Foster who wanted to interview me. Now I don't generally do live interviews, but what I decided to do is I just asked him, well, just give me 10 random questions that if you were to interview me, that you'd want to know. And he's just sent me these 10 questions now. And so what we're going to do today is just going to go through these 10 questions that are going to be an insight into perhaps how I help small businesses online. And at the same time, hopefully the lessons that I mention will benefit you too, and you'll be able to draw from some of my 20 years experience. So welcome to my video. As always, I encourage you to subscribe if you can so that you don't miss out on any of these benefits that I'm going to bring to your business. And at the same time, we're going to now look at 10 particular questions that will basically show you what answers I would give. So I haven't really had a chance to prepare them. He's just sent them through in an email. I've got them here to the side of me now. So I'm going to read one each question, and then I'll then take what really comes off the top of my head. As you can see, this is a bit of a raw video that I've not done before, so we'll see how this goes. And if you like it, obviously, then comment below. So let's go straight into it with this first question. Assuming people haven't been to your website, what do you do? Okay, so that's a good question to start with. So what do I do? Well, basically, I build websites for small businesses. I say small businesses because I work on a one-to-one. So generally, people just want to know that the person that's building a website, designing a website, and helping it to grow on the internet is that the same person that they speak to. So it's a much more of a kind of a bespoke one-to-one situation where a business will come to me, and then I'll be able to produce basically a package that's tailored for exactly what their business needs. So I kind of work more within a local area. But having said that, I have customers in London and in Glasgow and in other parts of the UK. But that's pretty much what I do. I build a website, I work with Photoshop, work with WordPress, I work with Google My Business, and basically tailor a website to the needs of each individual. So that's the first question. Question number 2, what sets you apart from your competition? Well, I would say that I am an honest person. So honesty, reliability. If you look at my reviews on Google My Business, you'll see that I've got 5 stars. So people kind of recognize that I'm a consistent person who takes an effort to make sure that I look after my customers. So that was a question, what sets you apart from the competition? So probably my reliability, my local knowledge, my experience of 20 years, and the fact that I enjoy working with people as well. So those are kind of the things that I'd say, certainly, if we say set apart, everyone probably would claim those things, but I feel I've got the proof behind that too. I'm not just saying it, but I've got a 20-year track record to support it too. The third question from Michael is, what do you think is going to be the biggest game changer in marketing and advertising in 2020? So, well, that's interesting. I think for me, the biggest game changer this year will be Google My Business. Google My Business now has grown quite dramatically in the last couple of years. So you'll see most of my videos are about it, because I don't think you can ignore it. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that it's really the main way to do SEO now for your business. So I would say you need to grow your business with Google My Business. Google My Business as well, they reckon that that it's probably going to be charged for soon. So there's rumours on the net at the moment that Google are really using this as a platform to build advertising on local businesses as well. And when you consider as well that if you're in the top 3 at the moment of what's known as the map pack or the 3 pack, if you can get in the top 3, the majority of traffic now for local searches on local business is in those top 3. 33% or 35% when I'd last checked is going to be a click on one of those top 3 from someone who's searching. So say I was searching for a local mechanic, so I put mechanic near me or local mechanic or Bournemouth mechanic. If you come up in those top 3, the chances are 1 out of every 3 people will click on that. The others, obviously, then are just the organic results from the search engine and previous search engine optimization. But that's what I think is going to happen in 2020. I think Google My Business will grow even greater, and maybe by the end of the year, Google will start to charge for having that presence, that facility. So at the moment it's free, and that's why I think it's something to take advantage of in 2020. Number 4, how about the decade of 2020 to 2030? So I suppose that's referring to the previous question of what do you think it's going to be the biggest game changer? So for the decade then, what will be the biggest game changer? Well, I think Google is going to make it so that businesses now have to stay within Google. So this Google My Business is quite clever because all the information about your business is pretty much now within Google's own kind of control. So you've got your business times. You've even got a website now that they want you to build within Google My Business that doesn't go to your website. So it's quite basic, but they're trying to get as much information, I think, from businesses. And then Google also is integrating the YouTube videos to its results too. So you can actually watch a video within Google rather than going off to the Google channel or the YouTube channel. Also, think about the questions that people are asking. When you go to Google search, you again can get all the answers to your questions because it may say people ask or this is what people are asking. You click on that and it gives you perhaps some information, and then you'll see another list of several other questions and you click on those and it opens up, and you kind of see that Google's almost answering everyone's question by staying within Google itself. And so I think that's going to be the thing that will change in the next 10 years, is that information and answers will be done very much more through Alexa or through Google. And I think that you'll see that a lot less information will be taken from websites. It'll be much more controlled than by some of these big players. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen in the web world. But I still think you can be part of that. You just have to buy into it. And I think Google My Business is actually, in the next few years, is the way to get into that. So that would be my suggestion to that question. The 5th question, if a business owner runs a local based service, what single thing could they do to better change, upgrade, or what would they that would have the most impact? Okay, so what would be the biggest impact for a local business owner that they could do? So I kind of harp on about it, but Google My Business I think would be the way to make sure you've got a presence, make sure you've claimed your business first of all, and then once you've got it, to just keep updating it. So make sure your times are correct. Make sure you update it if there's holidays. Make sure that your address is correct. Your links to your website are correct. Make sure that the name, address and phone number, which I often refer to in my videos, is consistent with all other references. And then also just keep updating it. Put on new photos of your products. So if you're a mechanic, take photos of some happy customers. Take photos of them MOTs you've done, some photos of the staff, some photos of the garage. Do a 360-degree photo, which you can do quite easily now for free. Update your photos, geotag them as well. Do some posts on there, do some offers on there, some events even. All these things, just fill up Google My Business with the things it's asking for and make sure it's accurate as well. And if you do those things, then it will instantly have an impact on the amount of people that find you when they do a local search. I mean, if your neighbour next door looks for you, it'll probably come up for your garage. But as you go further apart from where you are based, you'll find it weakens the amount of times you're shown as a local business. So that would be the biggest impact, is just keep updating with sensible references, get reviews as well. I've got several videos that will show you exactly what to do. So make sure you subscribe. Go to, I think it's called How to Max Out Google My Business. And there's a whole channel there of about 15 videos that will show you all the tricks that you can do this year. So it's all up to date, that will help you to grow your business. 6th question, do you review a local business online presence, and what then do you suggest you can improve on? Okay, so I think in this case, if we had a live interview, it's probably going to show me a random website. But what I do is I do review people's websites. So if you have a business website and you want me to review it, at the moment, I'm not charging for that because I'm seeing it as a way of just helping people to see what could improve on their website. And by doing so and showing the video on YouTube, then others as well are learning from that critique. So I critique websites. So if you wanted your website to be critiqued, or if you've got a local business and you want me to look at it from a specific angle, then I'll put a link down below that you can refer to, and you can then see that there. Okay, so point number 7 is, what tools do you use to measure performance? So there's a few things I look at. Neil Patel's audit is excellent. So that's really good if you wanted to perhaps see what's wrong with a website. So that's more for perhaps the keyword references, making sure H1, H2 tags are correct, alt tags aren't missing, there's no duplicating of, say, various descriptions or titles. Those are all kind of important things to make sure that when you rank in Google, Google sees it as a kind of relevant page. So that's kind of some basic SEO stuff that I always do on everything I do. But what tools do you use to measure performance? So regarding performance, so rather than just having SEO, which is important to help performance, there is some checkers I've used, like a mobile checker that Google produces. That's quite useful. But probably the best one is gtmetrix.com. And the reason I use that is because it enables you to look at the page speed of a website and to see how quickly it loads. But it also gives it from other perspectives too, like it shows the order in which it loads. You can see what things are holding the server up. You can see how many files, how many JavaScripts you've got loading. And as you work through those issues, you can really speed up a website. So sometimes you can go probably 9-10 times faster just by some efficient caching, particularly your images as well. If they're not optimized, so I use like Smush, that's a great way to optimize images. Those are the things. So GTmetrix is probably the tool I use to optimize performance of websites for my clients. So question number 8, what is the last thing you learned that stood out to you? So probably the last thing I learned really, well, 2 things really. One is there's the Pareto law or the 80-20 law, and try and use that as much as you can. So for an example, I read the other day that when you hoover, you can hoover up 80% of the dust by just going to 20% of the carpet. And it's suggesting that, like in a hallway, the central part is probably where all the dust is. So that's the place to hoover. So you could effectively accomplish 80% of the cleaning in just 20% of the carpet. And that's true with business as well, that say 80% of your profit will come from 20% of your customers. So focus on your top customers really, because they're the ones that are going to really be making the difference. So this 80-20 rule works so well in so many areas of business. You'll find that you can reference it in pretty much everything. So that would be probably my last thing I learned. Probably before then as well, I learned just to not always take on every single client that says that they want to work with you. Sometimes you can just get a gut feeling that the client's going to be awkward, or you can just feel that something's not quite right, or they've perhaps found other people they've not got on with and they're coming to you. So I'm a bit more cautious now with who I take on. I want to take on people that value what I do and I value what they do. So I think you sometimes, if you've got a rapport with someone quite early on, that's good. So that would be my kind of next, but the 80-20 rule, I love that one and use it all the time in business. Right, what was your first client and how did you guys get connected? So this goes back to, I've been doing web design now for nearly 21 years. So go back to the 1990s, late 1990s, I was working in a large supermarket, working at administration there. And as computers were getting more and more involved in our office, I was the kind of go-to person with spreadsheets and things like that. So I learned, I kind of got this reputation of also then, because I built websites myself, some fan websites, that people were saying, well, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And gradually I got into web design that way. So my first client was, he wanted me to basically get him a web domain for his company that did gardening. So what was it called? Surface, I can't remember, it's something to do with Surface now. But he wanted me to do that. Then there was a sign company that was the husband of a wife that I worked with, and I did a sign website for him. And I worked mainly with Micromedia Flash. So I was doing a lot of animations as well, which I think Flash is now kind of long gone. So that was how I started out. This was about 1997, 1998, just for fun. And then by 1999, I then started to really run the business. So that was how it all kind of started, my first customers. So number 10, final question. How are people exposed to you now? Well, really I've done word of mouth for many, many years. And one of my previous videos, just recently, I was saying that word of mouth has worked for 20 years, but suddenly things are changing. Local business now needs to be found. And I now would say it's mainly through LinkedIn, through my YouTube channel, through my website, through blogging, through that, and through word of mouth. So those are the 4 areas I use. So I've not really gone into Facebook or Instagram. I don't even really like advertising. I tried advertising with Google AdWords and with Bing and didn't find that worked at all. So for me, it's mainly through word of mouth and growing my Google My Business channel and being found on local searches. So that's kind of what I'm currently doing to be found. So hopefully if I can help you in any way, you know where I am because you're now watching my video. If you like the way that I work, if you like the ethics I have, the honesty, the reliability, the one-to-one process, then also you can contact me. But that sums up, I think that's the 10 questions that have shown what I can do and how I do these things. So that was for Michael Foster, and that was an interview that he wanted to do with me, but rather than do it live, I've done it recorded because I just don't like that kind of idea of the bouncing it live syndrome, not knowing what's going where. But hopefully those questions, that answers some of his questions, but it also answers some of yours as well. So thanks for watching, and thank you for your time you spent on this video. Do make sure you subscribe because I have another video that's coming out that's going to be really useful for Google My Business. So if you've got a Google My Business entry and you want to see how you can optimize it, but how you can optimize it in a nearby village or town, and then how you can check to see where you come, I've got 5 amazing tools in my next video that's going to help you to do that.